Morning students. In the previous class we were explaining about the liquid level measurement and the viscosity measurement. So in continuation with the viscosity measurement, next type is the efflux viscometers. In efflux viscometers, the viscosity is determined by the time taken for the efflux, that is nothing but the liquid which is flowing out of the container, the time taken for the liquid to move out of the container under specified conditions, that is at preferred values of specified values of temperature and other conditions. The time taken for the efflux to move out of the container, that is determined, and based on that there is a calibration chart which indirectly determines how much is the viscosity of the liquid. So under specific conditions of the time taken for the liquid to flow out of the container through a specific capillary or aperture, that is aperture may be a nozzle or a orifice. So the figure that is shown here is the Sebault viscometer. So this is a figure of a Sebault viscometer. Right, the liquid is contained in a container. This is a reservoir in which the liquid is filled, whose viscosity we want to measure. Right, surrounding this there is a bath which is meant for maintaining the constant temperature of the liquid inside the reservoir. Right, so under the specified temperature, under some standard value of height level of the liquid and at some standard value of temperature of the liquid, when it flows out of the reservoir, it falls into this measuring cylinder. The time taken for this liquid to flow out of this reservoir and to fall into the measuring cylinder, that is 60 centimeter cube of the liquid, how much time it takes for that volume of liquid, 60 centimeter cube volume of liquid, to fall into the measuring cylinder, that is nothing but indirectly it measures the viscosity of the liquid in the reservoir. So this is how the efflux viscometers are used, and in particular this is a Sebault viscometer to measure the viscosity of the liquid in the reservoir. Fine. So these viscometers are employed in petroleum and allied industries, right? So they are employed in petroleum and allied industries for the measurement of viscosity in petroleum and in petroleum related industries. Next is the electrical method of measurement of viscosity. So under electrical methods of measurement of viscosity, it consists in determination of the stress or the displacement. In one method, it involves measuring the electrical input to a small motor which drives the impeller or stirrer in a tank. Right. So there is an impeller or stirrer, the one which stirs the liquid in a tank. So there is a motor driving that stirrer. So the current input or the electrical input to the motor, that is determined, and indirectly it measures the viscosity of the liquid in the tank. Another method involves measuring the angle of lag. Indirectly it is nothing but the measurement of the torque. It measures the angle of lag in a mechanism in which there is movement or the rotation of the stirrer in a tank. Right. So there is a stirrer in a tank which stirs the liquid, which mixes up the liquid. So the mechanism which stirs the liquid, in that mechanism, if you measure the angle of lag or the torque measurement, that indirectly gives the measurement of the viscosity of the liquid in the tank. That is the second method of measuring the viscosity under electrical method. And in the one more method, the oscillations are produced in a steel rod carrying a diaphragm immersed in a liquid. There is a steel rod, so that steel rod is immersed in a tank. There is a steel rod, right? So this steel rod is immersed in a tank containing the liquid. It consists of, this steel rod consists of a diaphragm, right? So this steel rod is immersed in the liquid contained in a container, right? Oscillations are produced. So oscillations are produced in this rod. So the circuitry which produces the oscillations in this on this rod, so the loading effect on that circuit is measured. How much is the loading effect on the excitation circuit or on the circuit which is producing the oscillations on the steel rod, that is measured. So indirectly that load measurement gives the value of the viscosity of the liquid in the tank. So these are the four electrical ways of measuring the viscosity of the liquid in the tank. Fine students. So these are the electrical methods. So after discussing with the viscosity measurement, let us try to solve few of the problems. Let's try to solve few of the problems. Right. The first problem, first numerical. A platinum resistance thermometer. A platinum resistance thermometer. A platinum resistance thermometer has a resistance of 120 ohm at 25 degrees Celsius. Determine its resistance at 75 degrees Celsius. The temperature coefficient of resistance the temperature coefficient of resistance of platinum at 25 degrees Celsius is 0.00392 ohm per degree Celsius. In case, second part of the problem, in case the resistance of the thermometer, right, resistance of the thermometer is found to be 180 ohm. Determine the temperature. Okay, so this is the problem here. A platinum resistance thermometer has a resistance of 120 ohm at 25 degrees Celsius. So under solution, first write the given details. What is given? Resistance at 25 degrees Celsius. Resistance at 25 degree Celsius. So that is R1 is given, that is 120 ohms. Okay, so R1 is given, that is 120 ohm. Fine. So once the R1 is known, so next we will note down the next parameter. Determine its resistance at 75 degrees Celsius. So what else is given? Temperature coefficient of resistance of platinum at 25 degrees Celsius is given. Temperature coefficient of resistance at 25 degrees Celsius. So that is alpha 1 is given, that will be equal to 0.00392 ohm per degree Celsius. Right. So he has asked to find the resistance at 75 degrees Celsius. Resistance at 75 degrees Celsius is asked to find. Right. So that is R2 is given by R1 into 1 plus alpha into T2 minus T1. This is the formula. Right. So we have studied the formula. R1 is equal to R0 into 1 plus alpha T, or R2 is equal to R1 into 1 plus alpha into T2 minus T1. So using this formula, we have to calculate the value of resistance, right, at 75 degree Celsius. Now apply the formula. So R2 is given by R1 is 120. So R2 is equal to 120 into 1 plus alpha. Alpha is given, that is 0.0392 into T2. T2 is the second temperature, that is 75 degrees Celsius, minus first temperature, that is 25 degree Celsius. So if we simplify this, then they will get 143.52 ohms. That is our answer. Okay, so we have calculated the value of resistance at temperature, how much? 75 degrees Celsius, and that is 143.52 ohms. This is the first part of the problem. Now coming to the second part of the problem. So what is being asked here in the second part of the problem? In case resistance of the thermometer is found to be 180 ohms, they have given the resistance and they are asking the temperature. First part, temperature was given and resistance was asked. The second part, they have given